What's up, everybody? Welcome to Waypoint's Media Club. It's like a book club except for everything except books. Joined with me today is Albob875.
Hello.
Under him, we've got LeighErin Jazz.
Hi.
And under me, we've got Chris LePack, aka RumblePack92.
What's good, everybody?
Alrighty, so today we are discussing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 4, The Whole World is Watching. Brett's not
Great
here
title.
because he's drowning in his own tears because John Walker's officially a douchebag. We have the reason.
That ending shot with the bloody shield.
You absolutely know that's going to be in every single thumbnail about this episode. I mean,
yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
100% going to be it. Yeah, because we're not. I understand that we're a spoiler show. We're not going to throw it in the goddamn thumbnail, but I mean,
No.
but
Plus
damn,
we
the
have some-
alternate,
what a
so-
shot that was!
Yeah. Like, fuck.
Shit.
Also, I love that kind of shit. I love it when people lose shit and turn around and everybody's got their cell phone out, and I'm like, yes.
Like,
Very, and maybe it's just because I just recently finished watching season 2, but very like The Boys,
yes.
like just for a minute, just the brutality of that last bit. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is
Yeah.
this is a Marvel
Especially, like,
show.
Like the guy said, he's like, I'm not the person that killed Battlestar.
Hmm.
I'm not him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a sick twist of irony too, where you get the moment earlier where he's talking with Carly about how when he first got into it, he looked up to Captain America, like that was somebody that he liked and admired,
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah.
got killed by Captain America.
I mean,
Can
he
I
literally.
just-
I was gonna say he
Go ahead.
literally soiled the shield, like both
Yeah.
symbolically and like
Yeah.
there's blood
Yeah,
on
with the
it.
blood splatter on it. Hmm.
The blood splatter up his neck, too. Like, they did a great job. That was the moment that, like, I won't spoil The Boys, but there's a specific scene in the first season where, the Australian one, whose name I can't think of right now, is covered in blood, and it's what it reminded me of, because it's just like, I love when they put blood splatter on the person. It just looks so fucking dope.
I mean, usually people. This might sound a little morbid, but in like superhero things, like people like covered in blood, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're just like, yep.
You like Invincible.
Can I also just say, right at the top,
I'm only in episode 1. I gotta watch the rest.
I'm only on episode 2, but oh my god, the end of the pilot really fucked me up.
Of The Boys.
Of Invincible.
Invincible.
Also,
Oh
The Boys.
shit!
Right,
Yeah.
both of those,
Oh,
the
true,
pilot really
true.
fucked me up, but-
Yeah, the end of Invincible is brutal.
Jordan
That's another
didn't
show.
care. Jordan
No,
didn't
no, no.
care.
Talk about
That's
that.
not what I said.
We'll talk
I
about that
said-
at some point.
Oh, yeah. I'm not getting into it now because
Yeah,
We'll talk about that at some point for sure. So I mean, and then just on like brutality in that sort of thing, I was shocked at how Battlestar died. Like I was shocked.
Yes. Like in
Yeah.
last week's episode, we were talking about how we were thinking that he would like almost like switch sides, like go
Right.
with Falcon and Bucky, and it's like I never
No,
expected
no,
him
he
to
did.
die.
yeah, no.
I
Yeah,
never saw
like,
that.
damn.
It's not even like I thought he'd be protected by plot armor. I just didn't think like he was that important enough to die. He was like the other end of like protected.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that he was important because I viewed his role as something I picked up on. I said that he was sort of like John Walker's like moral compass. Like any time that he was getting close to kind of like really losing it, Battlestar was always the guy who was like, no, let's chill. They're right, but let's not do this, like that sort of thing. And now he doesn't have that,
Yeah.
and he's juiced up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in a way, I mean, Battlestar was his Bucky, where like,
Yeah.
imagine if Bucky had really, really died. Like, done, he's dead, no coming back in front of Cap. Like, Cap would have fucking lost his mind.
Mhm.
Let's
Which,
not act like Cap
you know,
never killed nobody.
Oh, Cap does lose his mind and kills people all the time. I'm very aware of that.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I just think about the fucking the stairwell scene in Civil War. Those
Yeah.
dudes are
With
dead.
the battering ram.
Dead.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times where Marvel's like, they're fine. They're fine.
They're
We're
just
just not going to
sleeping.
talk about it. Yeah. They're just
When
they're
you-
resting.
Remember when he kicked that one dude over the rail of a boat in Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that dude has drowned. Like, he's dead.
Dead.
Like no, like he survived because it's water. Alright, sure.
I mean, it's a little hard to swim with a broken spine, but he's just sleeping.
Yeah.
Like when he
Same
uses
with
the
Batman,
battering.
where he,
or
where he
I said
like,
when he
knocks
uses
people
the-
out for like
Yeah.
several minutes. Sorry.
Mhm.
So when he uses the battering ram like a baton.
He just
Yeah.
shatters that dude's rib cage. That guy's dead.
Yeah. I have to say though, I may not love Bucky. He may not be my favorite person on the planet. Sebastian Stan is a fucking powerhouse of an actor, and like
Yes.
I
love
just like
How you doing
that,
now, John?
and like
Yeah,
that
looking good.
opening scene, like around the fire, like that was just so good.
Oh yeah,
And
that
like,
intro.
Yeah.
I would
I-
really hope once they started like setting up that, hey, we're giving you like some flashback scenes for Bucky and that sort of thing. I was really hoping that at one point we'd see at least like something of him, like either how he overcame his programming or like the final shot of it, which we got like the first time that they try to activate him and it doesn't work, and I was just like, fucking Bucky needs a hug, dude.
I did not need
Yeah.
that at 5 a.m.
Bucky needs a hug, dude. They give him something supremely sad like every single episode, and it's
Yeah.
just like, stop it.
just like give a man a break, please.
No, dude.
But also, I would die for the Doramaji. I love them so
my God.
fucking
Oh,
much.
they were so dope.
I love them. I like that whole scene where
Mhm.
we got the extended scene of the alley where she's like, "You have 8 hours. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?" Also, really quick, I haven't watched Civil War since it released.
Mhm.
Are the Doramaji at the UN
Yes.
when that
Yeah.
happens? They are. Okay.
Yes, but they're
Some of them
not.
are
They're
during
not in
disguise.
uniform.
Okay. Okay.
Because that was before Wakanda had
Announced
Open.
come out as
themselves.
this like superpower. Like they were known, but they were considered to be like a third world country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay.
the leader of this group of Doramaje that we've been seeing in the show
Ayo.
is
Yeah.
she's wearing, I think she wears the green dress and like stands near T'Challa and Okoye all the time, and she tells Natasha, "Move or you'll be
Yeah.
removed."
Yeah, that was
So
her.
for context, yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
just
she was technically the first one we saw before Okoye. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
because that was the only thing I was confused about when she was like, "We were supposed to protect him and couldn't." I was like, "Hey, it's a bomb. What were you gonna do? Like, you got your your spears
Yeah.
and shit, but that doesn't do much against a bomb."
It's that you
Um,
don't know is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bomb that you don't
Yeah.
know that there's a possibility of it being there. Yeah. But I just couldn't remember because I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it in a while. If they were actually there.
hmm very briefly, I think only like 1 or 2 shots outside of like
Yeah.
the very small exchange with Black Widow. But yeah,
Okay.
Which
can we
it
talk
was-
about? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was
sorry.
just gonna say
No,
the
no.
cool, or the moment when after that fight when he's like they weren't even supers or super soldiers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was the one moment I kind of felt bad for him.
Nah,
it's
just
it's
like,
it's
all right,
no,
dude, it
I-
happens.
know.
it's like despite him being him,
Mm.
it's I
Right.
still have at least like the tiniest amount of sympathy because this guy was essentially given an impossible mission. It's like
Yeah.
he's standing in the shadow of literally like basically the nicest person on the planet, like the most like good inside person that there's ever been, but was also incredibly strong, like this huge leader, and then you're told, hey, you have to go be him.
It's like,
But
Zemo
also you
said.
don't get those superpowers. So
Yeah.
so I mean, and I honestly believe him when he talks about like we get the shot the first time we see him speak in the locker room in the second episode, and then when he's eating with Battlestar during this last episode where he's sitting there. I genuinely think he wants to be the best Captain America that he can be. I just don't think he knows how to do that. And I mean, it's just he's not the right person for the job.
No.
I did very much appreciate the writers putting in that scene where him and Battlestar are eating and talking, where he's, I didn't get those medals of honor for something I'm proud of, because that is such a real thing where like the medals of honor don't mean you were necessarily a hero. You got them for following an order that may have led to innocent people dying. And it
Yeah.
kind of that whole argument with like that you hear with snipers where they're like, I'm not happy with what I do, but I trust the government is making the right call. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic to play with. And then he went crazy at the end, and I was like, well, never mind.
Yeah, and I also really like that scene because the interaction with him and Battlestar Lamar. I'm just gonna call him Lamar. I can't say Battlestar without laughing.
It's such a dumb name.
It's okay. I just couldn't remember his name was Lamar.
Yeah. Where they're kind of mixing up the nobility of Steve with his military record
With his abilities.
and they're kind of not realizing that that's different. Like they automatically
Yeah.
assume that because like Carly is looked at as an enemy of the state and doesn't have a Medal of Honor, she's not noble. But because you do, you're definitely noble. And
Okay, but to be fair,
But there's
Carly's a
also
moron.
I'm
yeah,
not saying she's
there's
not.
that.
but
But
it's like
it's
the
also
way
such
they're
a great
looking at it.
way of bringing back the same thematics that we got from the first Captain America movie, which was, I mean, Steve was chosen not because of how he looked, but because
His
of how he
character.
was on the inside, and they bring that up again even early on in this scene where Zemo's talking about it. He's like, look, becoming a superhero just turns you into a bad person, and Sam's like, well, what about Steve Rogers? And Zemo goes, fair, he's like, there are exceptions. And I also like that just as a little character moment for Zemo, where he was like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like Steve was the right person, but that's what he's saying. He's like, but there's not a lot of Steve Rogers out
He
there.
said there hasn't even been one yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I also really liked in that exchange where he goes, people like the Nazis and the Avengers, and then Falcon goes, "Those are our friends," and Bucky goes, "The Avengers, not the
The
Nazis."
Avengers, not the Nazis.
It got me. I liked it a lot.
I lost it at that point.
Mhm. Something
I
I
also
do.
like it.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say. I just wanted to shout out that scene between Sam and Carly, like showing him going back to his roots from like when we first met him in Winter Soldier?
Winter
Yeah.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like talking to veterans and all that. Like that was such a good scene.
I don't like how much I agree with Zemo in this show.
It's
I
weird,
don't
right?
like how much I
Mhm.
enjoy him, because that was the thing when he says to Sam earlier on about Carly, you're seeing something that isn't there. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, Sam is seeing something that does not exist.
Well, he said
Like,
not there anymore, too.
no, yeah.
But the fact that he
Um,
calls her out on it though, and that she has no response.
The
Well, because
thing,
it's like, listen to yourself. Listen to what you are saying. Like
Mhm.
talking to Sarah. Listen to yourself. You're about to kill 2 children that have nothing to do with this just to get your point across. Like, think.
and the problem is like he was almost, even if maybe that wasn't the best way to approach Carly, he was getting somewhere with it, and then John came in and fucked it up. And
Yep.
I don't think he was necessarily going to be like, I'm going to change her and let her go. Like, he was probably going to turn her in, but he didn't want to go in guns blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Um,
like he said, he has that training, and it was working.
Which goes to show you that he can make a good Captain America because he does have those characteristics. He turned down the
Yeah.
super soldier serum. He almost talked Carly down. Like
Which was again another fantastic bit of this episode where Zemo asked Sam, he's like, "Were you ever offered the Sam?" He's like, "No, I wasn't." He's like, "Would you have taken it if you were?" And he goes, "No, I wouldn't have." And I think Zemo is like, you can see Zemo gain a little respect for him there, where he's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
all right,"
There's no
but then
hesitation.
they exactly, and then they mirror that immediately with Lamar being like, "Hell yeah, I would have taken it if they'd given it to me,"
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, it's just again all kind of harkening back to that original point of Steve Rogers, like because of his character and who he was, being the right person to have the serum and be the next Captain America. And I think that's why, Cap chose Sam, because he's like, you have the character for this.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like you can do it, but I don't. But I mean, Sam being Sam was like, nah.
Can I talk about Zemo really quick and that they really let him rule the roost on this one? Like, they just let him wander wherever the fuck he wants,
Right.
and nobody follows him. And
And
it's
he
like,
sneaks out.
guys.
Yeah, and he sneaks out in the middle of the fight, and then, because he went through the sewer, Sam went, oh, he pulled in El Chapo.
Yeah, like, how did you guys not
Yep.
expect that? Like, how did you not see that coming? And then
He's very good at getting other parties of people to fight each other, though. That's a
Yeah.
recurring theme I'm noticing.
And I just feel like that if you know that about a person, maybe watch him, because like this was my whole thing in the courtyard where he was giving the kids Turkish delight, which by the way, Turkish delight is not delicious. It's fucking disgusting.
Me and my cousin were talking
never
about it the
had
other day. It was like if they the best they can make Starburst in the 1800s. They
It's
just never
like-
evolved.
It's like
So
a
what is-
thicker. It's like a thicker jelly. It kind of has that flavor and consistency somewhere between a jelly and a Jello, and they usually taste like fruit, and then they're rolled in powdered sugar.
Yeah, I was about to say it didn't look like it did in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I mean,
It didn't. There wasn't a lot of powdered
I'd
sugar
never
on
seen
it.
I'd never seen like it wrapped up like that before. They pulled it
Yeah.
out in a tin in Narnia.
seen
and
it in
had all the
boxes.
sugar and everything. Yeah.
So in London, there are little like Turkish delight like carts because there's a big Turkish like community there, and they'll sell them in little individual packages. And like you can go up and you can buy them for like 50 pence. It's like super
Cool.
cheap, but they're
Very
not
cool.
good. It's like chewing on jelly, just
See, but
sugary jelly.
I mean, these are refugee kids.
I can get down on
Zemo is
jelly.
not a refugee kid.
Yeah, but I'm saying like those kids will eat the sweets that are not really sweets by today's standards.
Honestly, I could get down on it. It still looks good to me.
I also at one point was like when Sam is walking through and he's just yelling the woman's name and being like, "Hey, do you know this? I'm not gonna talk to you." And then it cuts back to Zemo giving the kids candy. I was like, "See, Zemo gets it. That they're not gonna talk to
Mhm.
some random man."
Zemo did it so well, and like it shows you how good I guess he is at like reading and understanding people. But something about the way it came off really creepy too.
Well, I mean, it's an
Agreed.
older guy with like singing "Baba Black Sheep" to a bunch of kids and offering them candy. All of
And
it's
we
weird.
know that he's a bad person, so it just
Yeah.
feels wrong.
Red flags everywhere.
Also,
Even if
the music was really eerie during that scene. It didn't help.
Yeah. Even if Zemo was a good person, a man slowly singing a nursery rhyme, walking up to children and then giving them candy for information is always going to be creepy. And then
Literally.
later saying, "My associate is ahead," and everyone turns and it's a 10-year-old
Yes.
girl. It's like,
That fucking cracked me up.
No, that part was funny. I just hated that he literally ended it with "Remember, it's our little secret," and I was like, "No, again, like it's
yeah,
too
like,
creepy."
Yeah.
it's just because we're all jaded by the real world that like that scene is
Yeah.
so off-putting.
Yeah, we
Um,
can't have anything fun.
but Zemo's so fun. Like I'm
Mhm.
in.
It's
Yes.
weird, right? Why is Zemo so cool?
Yeah, like why am I jamming? Also, did Bucky do anything in that scene, or did he just stand there while Zemo bribed children with candy?
No, he
Tried
just
to
watched him.
he
He
was
just
trying to
watched 'em,
talk
yeah.
to like the shop owners, wasn't he?
No, he was just
Okay.
standing there watching Zemo, I thought.
Yeah, that's why, because Sam goes inside, and then when it cuts to go follow Sam inside the building, he says to Bucky, like, "Watch him," and he goes, and then it cuts back to the courtyard. Bucky is standing in the same place as Zemo slowly walks over to these children,
Mhm.
and then when we come back to this, it's Sam and they're
And
leaving.
Bucky. Yeah.
Yep.
And like it's like, okay, Bucky did nothing. Like
Rebe-
if he had just walked with Zemo, maybe he would have heard the two men I'm with are bad people, don't trust them.
Mhm.
And Bucky's face is still known as like a terrorist around that part of the world, so
I'm just saying, like, come
yeah.
on. Like just
Speaking of Bucky, I want to give a shout out to when they finally pull in Sam and Bucky into the fight with the with the Dora and how they just turn his arm off and just kind of falls off.
Yes.
I 100% thought they were about to take the arm and walk away.
Same.
I thought they.
that
Yeah.
is such a
Yep.
smart fail save. That is such a smart idea. Like you sat there and went, good on them. It's unfortunate in this moment, but good on them that they were thinking. Because I mean,
They're
Mhm.
you
not
give
dumb.
him yeah, because you give him the arm, but what if the bringing him back from the brainwashing didn't work? You press a button and the arm drops. He really got nothing after that point.
I mean,
He's
he's
still
still
got
got
super soldier.
serum, and
Yeah, but
and
she's down an arm.
he's an
It also would
assassin.
have been
But I mean, he
really
would be down
well,
an arm for sure.
didn't they do the brainwash reversal first? Because we see him get the arm at the end of Black Panther, and it's assumed that by then he's good to go.
I didn't pay attention to whether he had the arm in that scene or not.
It was
I
dark.
have a picture
Yeah.
up. Hang on,
No,
let me
I-
see if I can tell.
I don't think he did. I think because he still had all
I was
the
going to say
towels
he
and stuff
shouldn't have
over.
because yeah, he would have had like we see them give him the arm in Infinity War. Yeah.
No, Black Panther.
Yeah, he has that wrap
Infinity War. I promise.
around him.
Was it?
I promise it's Infinity War that they
They
give him.
don't.
I
Right?
thought
They
at the end of
show
Black
him the
Panther.
arm in the post-credit scene in Black Panther, but he does not
Yes.
put it on. They just
Okay.
come down and say, "White
White
Wolf."
Wolf.
Was that
shadow
post?
experiment."
Was that not
Yeah.
in Infinity War?
No, that was the post-credit scene for Black Panther.
Shit, I thought it was in the movie. All right, that's on me.
No, it's fine. I watch Black Panther like once a month.
It's fair. It's a good movie.
It's like my favorite Marvel movie. I watch it all the time.
It's very good. I want to watch it. Shit, where was I going with that?
Which,
I don't remember.
speaking-
Cool scene. Great fight
Speaking
scene.
of super soldier
Yeah.
serum, when did everybody realize that John Walker actually took the serum?
Moment he ran through the door like Steve.
I think, yeah. And then when he jumped out and landed on the bus, if anyone
Mm.
didn't know at that point,
Right.
you should know by then.
One of my
Well, I mean, he also threw the shield into the wall.
I was just gonna say that's where it kind of clicked for me. That's like, oh,
like,
this
oh
is
fuck.
like embedded halfway into the concrete.
Yeah, kind of like the second that fight scene started, I was like, yeah, he's
Juiced. Yeah.
I just like, whoa, that entire scene. First off, I have to say, we got off to the wrong foot. I'm John. Hi, I'm Clint. I don't care 2.0. And like, I want a scene like that every time anyone from Wakanda meets anyone.
Right.
It was just so big. He's just standing there with his hand out, and they're just staring
they
at
just-
him.
No, did he introduce himself as John Walker? Or did he introduce himself as Captain America?
I believe
I'm
he
John
called himself
Walker, the
Captain
new
America.
Captain America.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Just because
There it
I
is.
thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And even they don't acknowledge him as the new Cap.
No.
I also love the line too, where they're like, "Hey, Wakanda's got no jurisdiction here," and they're like, "We have jurisdiction wherever we're at." Like,
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
a good
"Damn,
line, yeah.
great
Oh,
line."
God. I
Yeah.
know the Dora Milaje training in Disneyland is going to be for children, but I want to go.
I'm
and
doing
just,
it, I don't care.
try.
I did the Ollivanders thing. I'm gonna do the lightsaber thing. I'm gonna go get trained by the Dora. It's happening.
And then you hop right over and get trained by the Sorcerer Supreme.
God damn, yeah, I can't wait for that to open up.
I'm gonna be so OP.
Good.
Have the sorcerers in one hand, the spear in the other. Good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah,
Jordan's gonna
Captain
come out to
America's
Disney.
shield, an Iron Man glove, like it just
The
Thor's
spider
hammer.
bot.
Oh
Thor's
god.
hammer,
Oh yeah. Oh man, dude, that's gonna be.
LeighErin literally said, she was like, hey, when you come visit me, you have to bring a second suitcase because I know you're gonna buy a lightsaber, a spider bot, and a droid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, you're
I'm gonna-
right.
I was already going to spend tons of money at Galaxy's Edge, and
Mhm.
now I'm going to spend even more. There's probably a similar amount of money over at the fucking
If not
Avengers
more.
complex,
Yeah.
if not more, depending on what they have, because I will buy it.
The spider bots look dope. They released the videos of them about 3 months ago. They look fire.
Yeah, the
Um,
droids I don't think I'd get, but like those spider bots, I'm like, no, I'm getting those.
No, I'm getting
Yeah.
the droid. Brittany wants a droid. I want a lightsaber. So
Problem with
That's
the droids is they're
$300
all
down the drain
R2 and
right
B
there.
Units. I really want to do
Oh
one unit.
shit!
uh-oh.
Are you okay?
Oh shit.
Ooh.
You're
We can
okay.
We can cut that out.
Yeah.
Just give it. I guess I'm
so
editing,
sorry
so I
my
can
cat
do
almost
that.
killed herself. I'm so sorry. She tried to jump up on the couch and missed. And she has a really short tail, and so she doesn't actually flip over when she falls. She just falls on her back.
Oh
Okay,
no.
honey. Yeah, 'cause, like, her tail is like 6 inches long. You're okay, honey. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Ooh,
No, what's great is that I can edit that very easily.
okay.
Mhm.
We're
You're
still
okay.
we're still recording, so in a second we'll just give it a hard thing, and I'll just be like, "Oops, sorry, technical difficulties or whatever," and we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Whenever you
Or
guys are
just
ready.
do a cut.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to just launch into like halfway into a sentence. I want to give it like a
Right,
clear
yeah.
point where we can come back in, because I'm just gonna cut it there. Yeah, it'll be a
Yep.
hard cut there, and so I want to make sure we explain why we just cut it.
Nah, I don't usually when I edit, just cut.
I don't know. I'm still gonna do it.
Please just sit
Sorry
down.
about that, technical difficulties. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I think the droids, to be honest, we were talking
Yeah,
about the droids.
we got a little
Yeah.
off. We got a little off topic. I'm gonna
Sorry.
spend a lot of money there, though. It's fine.
Yeah, no.
Something else,
talk about-
just like a tiny. You wanna go? Because I might here. I'll go. It's just tiny. I just want to give a little shout out again to Bucky because I love him. Well, actually, first off, the fantastic is the one time where John Walker said something and I laughed, where he's like, "What is with all the knives?" that fucking cracked me up. And
Yeah.
then like 2 seconds later, Bucky comes in and does the grip change where he flips the knife, and I was like, "That's why we have knives. Like that's why they're there."
Yep.
They look cool.
Knives are cool.
Because knives are cool, and Bucky gets the coolest like little knife things that he gets to do with them every time he gets one, and I just want more
The shots
sequences
in
of
the
Bucky
trailer.
flipping
They're
knives.
nice.
It's also
Yeah.
like he doesn't realize that, Europe has gun laws.
Yeah. I mean, knife
Oh
attacks
yeah,
are
I
more
mean
common
yeah,
in
that's the
Europe.
point. That's
Yeah,
actually a great point, and I hadn't thought
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
You're more likely in Europe to be attacked by a knife or by acid than you are by gun violence. just
By
because they have
acid.
England and a lot of Europe has a huge problem with acid attacks. Specifically in England because immigration from India is so easy. People will throw acid on Indian women to lighten their skin. It's super fucked up. But yeah,
I had never heard this before.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
no.
because
That's the
it's
first time I've heard of it. What the shit? Acid?
it's
What is this? A
relatively
Batman movie?
No, like,
yeah,
they burn people's faces.
it's relatively easy to create hydrochloric acid in your own home using basically the ingredients for salad dressing. And so like it's super easy.
Holy shit!
Isn't
Yeah.
chemistry amazing?
um can we talk about the scene in the graveyard with Carly really quick?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy, I don't know his name, but the guy that she's talking to said that he used to be a Captain America fan. I think it's a moment where they show how in over their head this group is, where he's like, the world used to be good and bad, and then everything happened, and now it's so much more complex. No, it was always complex. You just weren't as aware of it. And like,
Yeah.
there's a distinct difference between those two things. Thanos did not come down, snap, and then make the world complicated. It's always been that way.
It is,
Like,
and it's like the way, like, the one part about Sam that, like, I get where where he can see Carly. It's like, I don't agree with her by any means, but it's like you can see how a person got to that point. Like, you don't, like, if you read history, and even if you don't believe in communism, you could very much see why people turn to that when certain things aren't met. And that's kind of how I start to feel about, Carly and the Flag Smashers in a way.
yeah.
But the other reason why I can't even, like, give them sympathy is, like, you guys are mad that other people are being helped. Like, that's the core of it. Is you're just mad that
Mhm.
you're no longer getting the help.
Yeah.
And I don't live in that world. I can't say that what do they call it? The whatever,
GRC.
The
GRC.
GRC.
Global
I almost said GDC, and I was like,
Replacement
that's
Center.
not it. Yeah. I was like, I'm not saying the GRC is perfect, but,
The
like,
MDV.
at the core of it is you guys are just upset that you're no longer getting these benefits.
And like it's a complicated thing because like of course the Avengers wanted to bring everybody defeat Thanos, but it also gets into this really weird morality thing of, was Thanos right? And I think that's where the Flag Smashers start to get a little
Mhm.
fuzzy. It's like, that was basically genocide, and you guys are mad that we stopped genocide.
Well, they didn't stop it
Well,
so much as they
reversed.
corrected it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Reverse
I
the
feel like
genocide?
they don't. Personally, the way I look at it is that it's not so much that they were happy about the genocide, but after 5 years, people get into the mindset of, I just have to move on,
hmm
Yeah.
and a lot of people had moved on with their lives, and so that's a little bit jarring. And obviously, I'm
we
gonna agree with
see a
you.
scene of Cap holding like a focus group specifically for that,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
helping people move on with their lives.
Well,
Like they
And
thought it
it's
was over.
they also say that they opened borders. Like, nothing was closed. You could go to another country and get another job, help with the rebuilding rebuilding
Mhm.
Yeah.
reliefs and all that. So
It gets into some real sticky morality.
And it's like, hey, open
Mhm.
borders, then half the population dying shouldn't be mutually exclusive. Like, you should be able to have that with more people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's also that I don't think we ever could live in a world with completely open borders, because like their whole idea is that there is governments, no flags, like no nothing. We're just all one world, one people. And it's like, people have issues with that a lot of the time because culture erasure usually goes hand in hand with that. It's
Also,
usually a superpower comes out and they go, our culture is what it's going to be, and that will be our one world. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's also,
this is weird.
when you go back to, like, times before technology and a more interconnected world, there is just not man-made. There's just geological borders. Like, Europe and the United States have a border because there's the fucking Atlantic Ocean in the middle.
Say what?
Regardless of whether or not they'll let you in freely, like, there's a border. There are mountain ranges.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just like, it's yeah. I get where they're coming from. They have the spirit, but they are going about it the wrong way.
No, and that's why, personally, I think it's like, from this point on, we have 2 episodes left. I think John Walker is the big bad, and he's going to end with a big fight. Who knows how it will end in terms of like who lives, who doesn't. Whereas I view Carly more as like she's probably going to get arrested, and it's going to be like this weird, for lack of a better word, tragic thing where it's just like you didn't have to end up here, but you did, and these are your consequences. But like, I hope you change. Kind of.
Do you think
situation.
Zemo is going to be involved in at the end at all? Then
I mean, Zemo. Well, yeah, he has to come into play because he just dipped. Al, what's up?
I'll say we also have to think, where does the power broker fit into all this too?
okay, so
Yeah.
the power broker is Sharon Carter, right?
Yeah, I'm
No, it's not Sharon Carter.
It's Mephisto.
Whatever. Sorry, Brett and I got in like an argument about this last
Oh,
week.
did
and
you
I
really?
get mad about it since.
So
Like on the podcast, we like got in an argument.
Yeah,
5
but they
minutes.
call her up and she's like, I might have a satellite lying around. I don't know. I was like, that's
I
a power
because
broker
she's
shit.
been in some weird fucking shit because
She's been an art dealer this whole time.
I believed it last week, and this week
Or
I
art thief.
am both more and less convinced because I'm like, yeah, why does she have that tech? But at the same time, I was like, okay, now you're like legit helping. You're not. She didn't do anything sketchy the way she did last week.
they
Right.
also don't talk the same. The text messages that Carly is getting from
Well, yeah, she has to turn
the
the
power
persona
broker.
on. Whether that
But
persona is
it's- but
Sharon or
that's-
the power broker.
But that's my thing is that you still have a certain Sharon Carter would never call somebody little girl.
It's fair.
Like we've never been
True,
it's very much from what few like sentences from the power broker we've got, it's definitely a man. Like it's a dude because it's and this might be a generalization, but women don't tend to call other women because it's very derogatory and it makes me very mad that like it's not I think it's a man. And it's just I don't even know if we'll fully see him in this.
That'd be
Mhm.
interesting
think-
if they just leave the power broker.
He's just like a
for
mysterious
later.
figure that you can't
Yeah.
reach.
Yeah.
But
Um
what if it's, just going back to Zemo real quick, what if that's, the other way around? What if we don't see Zemo and he's just like kind of looming for the rest of MCU?
yeah.
I'd love for them to start doing like a Thunderbolts thing with Zemo, honestly, and maybe that's how they get the power broker in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be
And
honest,
the other thing is when Sharon says you killed the golden goose, if she was so mad about Zemo killing Nagel, she could have done something about it and she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Yeah, she actually knows who did it too, so it doesn't make sense for the power broker to keep going after Carly.
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
like why would he Carly assumes that it has to do or the power broker assumes it has to from what we've been given, assumes that it has to do with the flag smashers. And like it's just if it'd be such a weird long con in such a convoluted way. I truly think it is
That's
just
true, yeah.
yeah, and I truly think that a big part of this is breaking down the deity of Captain America and making people in general, Sam and Bucky being the main too, but everyone in general realize Steve was not a god. He was not perfect. Like he's not divine. And they let somebody fall through the cracks and forgot to get someone a pardon. And she hasn't seen her family in 7 years and all this shit because they forgot. And like they had a lot of going on and it sucks that they forgot and that's fucked up. But it's also understandable because they're all just human people. Like,
Mm.
And I like the breaking down of that mythos of Cap because I think it's important for Sam to be able to accept that he can be Captain America. I think he needs to be reminded that Steve wasn't perfect. He was good, but he wasn't perfect. And there is a difference.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the way I can mostly see going is that she's probably working for him, but maybe not by choice. Like maybe she's indebted to him for some reason, and she's kind of stuck working with him.
I can see that maybe.
There has to be. I don't know. There's something coming with her because the way there was that person that picked her up at the end of the last.
Yeah,
episode.
I'm still wondering what that's about. We might say that next week though.
Yeah.
I feel like if
Um,
they're gonna introduce like Sharon Carter as like a really big like part of it, have to do it next episode or shove it into the last one. You know what I mean? There's only 2 left. It's crazy to think that we're almost done with the show already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick, in the conversation with Sam and Carly, that was like listening to Batman and Jason Todd fight.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just listening to fucking Jason Todd and Batman about like who's saving Gotham correctly. Like, I was like, oh, I've been here before. I've watched this. I've seen Under the Red Hood, and like,
this I'm familiar with.
this I know. As long as she doesn't call herself Daddy, I'm fine with it.
Me.
Yeah, Jason Todd canonically calls himself Daddy.
Yeah.
Like in what way? Like in what context?
Shh, Daddy's working to villains like that he's holding under gunpoint who are distracting him. He'll go, shh, Daddy's working. It's very weird.
Like
like
if
nobody
you do it
needed
once
that.
in a while sarcastically, it's like sure, but like at a certain point.
Also, how is Zemo such a bad shot? She was 6 feet away from you, right in front of you, nothing in between the two of you. Miss.
I mean, he
Like
hit
that
her.
was such an easy.
He hit
But
her.
he
Just
didn't
not in the
kill
head.
her.
Yeah, no.
Like, how did you miss?
Yeah, isn't he like
Yeah.
like ex like Black Ops shit too? Like
Yeah, like
Something
dude was
like that,
military
yeah.
man.
I literally wrote, to quote Mushu from Mulan, she was right in front of you. How did you miss? Like, god damn.
Good. I like that.
Thanks.
I did really like though the scene immediately after, or the shot immediately after that, to where he's looking at the serum for a second, and it kind of makes me think. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna take it,
Yeah.
and then he starts stomping
Right.
it all out because I mean, dude hates super soldiers. Like he just hates super people.
There was a few seconds where you're like, oh, is this going to be a twist where he is not this, person that has this strict code?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he was smashing those fucking files.
Yeah, that was rad. I really liked that.
I also liked when Bucky and Sam came in and they looked at fucking was it John standing there?
Yeah.
And just went, what did we miss? And it's like a lot. You missed a lot, my man.
Yeah.
Also, Sam stopping John from hitting Bucky by saying stop before this gets weird. I was like, I don't know if weird is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to throw that term around a lot, though. Sam calls a
does,
lot of
yeah.
things weird.
Yeah.
Which
It's like his
speaking of weird, imagine having one of the biggest terrorists in the world call you randomly.
Oh yeah.
That was the moment. That was the moment that I was like, fuck Carly. I don't give a shit what she does for the rest of the series. Fuck Carly. That's not okay. Those even if she didn't mean it, those children have nothing to do.
Yeah, and that was the thing is I actually genuinely believe her when she tells Sam though, she's like, I was never gonna do anything. He's like, I just needed to know who you were. Like I needed to know more about you.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe her when she says that.
It's still not cool.
But not cool. Yeah, no, I'm not saying, hey, threaten people's children. I'm just saying it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, don't do that. That's bad.
Also, my neighbors probably think that like I'm doing some sort of crime because of the way I was screaming witnesses at the television when John was going in on that guy.
Yeah,
Because, like,
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
just-
Yeah.
there has to be
Your brain-
repercussions next week. Like
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to see from
There's no way
from
That's
the earlier
Because-
cell phone vid from earlier in the season. Like
Like,
I-
that's an act of war.
I assume the episode is going to start out with like somebody's
Found
cell phone
footage
video,
kind of thing,
from
yeah.
a different angle of
Yeah.
John Walker beating the shit out of that dude. Yeah.
Like,
No, 'cause,
that
like-
has to be considered an act of war, doesn't it?
Yeah, because at the
Did
end
an
of the
American
day, it's not just an American. It's like
Captain America.
it's Captain America, as Sarah called him, America's mascot, just going onto foreign soil and just killing a foreign citizen who, again, didn't actually do the thing he was mad at.
Now, granted, he was a flag smasher, and they might write it off as like he was a terrorist. It might not be an act of war, but the world's gonna know. It's like, oh shit, Captain America just fucking killed a dude.
Yeah, the
But that's the
optics
other
are bad.
thing. Was he given the order by the government to kill the flag smashers, or was he supposed to bring them in? Like, this is going to be like a PR mess.
I might be upset if he gets off with it because they're like, yeah, we told him to kill that.
100%. Yeah.
No.
Still, it's
No,
like
like
now that they
But
probably if
that's
they
still
told him to do
gross.
it, they probably would have told him to do it in secret. Like
Well,
again,
I mean, that's how they could excuse it, is all I'm saying. Because
he
and maybe I'm just like on that like the boys mindset to where Homelander does something stupid
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, we told him to do that. But I mean, like,
we'll figure it out.
no,
It's
no,
fine. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean, but it's like just the optics of such a brutal killing by the new Cap is not going to look good, even if the government's like, that
Like
those were his
you could even
orders.
like you
so
could even
gross.
see like that picture, like that final shot, like on a magazine cover. Like, is
Yeah,
this
Yeah,
your
it's gonna be
Captain
like
America?
I'm
It's like,
2024.
Is this your
like
king?
that's huge, especially because you have the last Cap became a war hero because he did something against the U.S. government. The U.S. government picked this Cap
yeah,
out of like all the people and brought him out, and he was on Good Morning America at his old high school.
Criminal. I just want to point out that you did say war hero. I think you meant criminal.
Criminal, yeah. Did I say hero? I meant criminal. I meant criminal.
I mean, technically both,
He
because
was
he broke
a
orders
war
in the
hero.
first movie, and they were like, "Oh, well, you that was good. That was good."
Like the,
He was
the
a
gym
war
teacher
hero,
in
but then they
Homecoming.
also branded him a criminal, like 100
but
years
then he
later or
became
whatever.
a hero again because he beat Thanos. So
Yeah, it's a roller coaster for sure.
It's like that gym teacher in Homecoming being like, he was a war hero. He may be a criminal now. I'm really not sure.
It's like
That's
I
my
don't know. I'm supposed to play this video though. I
that
fucking love that line.
that's my favorite line in Homecoming. It's just like, technically, this guy's a war criminal, but they haven't told me to stop showing him whatever he says.
You know,
Right.
the school districts are never up on the time, especially New York City schools. Like they're never. They always have stuff.
some of
the
the
name of
best
the
gag
Hannibal
reel.
Lecter makes it so much
Thank you.
funnier.
Yeah, it's Hannibal because
Hannibal
I always
Buress,
have
yeah.
in my I always have in my brain from that one shot, like the meme from the Andre show to where he's like, hey, bitch. Like that's always what I think of every single time
See,
when
I also quote the "Why are you booing me? I'm right." That is also him from the Eric Andre show.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
so
Um,
good.
But that gag reel
Yeah.
from Homecoming is some of the best.
I love it,
I know.
especially
So
because
good.
the costume that Cap's in. You're like, wow, he woke up from the ice, beat the Chitauri, and they're like, you need to film 20 of these.
Yeah,
We need
but
you
there's
to make these
Winter Soldier.
videos.
Pre-Winter Soldier, gotta love it because again, they're so good with those little like attention to detail things, man.
Mhm.
They're so good
That's
with
the
that.
Disney Plus show that I want. Is just nobody's super powered, but we just see how these characters, being Tony Stark being the philanthropist, Bruce Banner being the scientist, so on and so forth,
Mhm.
affect what kids learn in school. Just because I'm curious.
You just give me like a
Bruce
mockumentary,
Banner, the
like
science
even
guy.
if it's just like 1 hour, like a 1 hour thing of just people living in a world with superheroes. Like that's what I
Yeah.
want.
Well,
It's like
what's-
not The Boys because I
what's-
can't or even
Right.
look. I can't handle it.
What's funny is the other teacher from the Spider-Man series, the white guy with the long hair who's on Freaks and Geeks. He
Yeah.
he's a student that like falls for some dumb pizza trick in the Incredible Hulk, and
Mhm.
he's been out and is like, they haven't told me it's not the same guy, so yeah, like this dumbass became a teacher.
Mhm.
He also had the fantastic line in Homecoming where he's like, I can't lose another kid on a field trip. Not again.
Yeah,
I know, I love it.
Perfect.
I was talking to him and the other teacher were like, oh, they're combining like Voltron. He's like, I think you mean Power Rangers. It's like neither of you are wrong.
Oh, fantastic.
Honestly, that's what I want: is a Disney Plus series about those two teachers making their curriculum that involves
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be
And like
amazing.
how you teach about Captain America and the Winter Soldier and the fucking Black Widow program and Bruce Banner being Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I think that's what sets apart like the MCU from other superhero properties, though, right? To where it's like it's something that could take place in the world that we live in now, and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of always been like Marvel's thing, if you will. It's like, hey, it's they're in New York and in California and in like all this. They're all in real places. They're not like in Metropolis or Gotham or whatever. It all happens where we live, and I would just love to have like a little something of just like what a regular people's day looks like in a world with superheroes.
Yeah.
I think that'd be rad.
And like,
Do it,
what is
Disney.
it like living in a world where you had both Walt Disney existed in Marvel canon, Disneyland and Walt Disney existed at the same time that Howard Stark existed? And
But
like,
it's
how
also
would
like
that work?
it's also the thing of like, of course, you have Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, And then
Mhm.
Spider-Man later goes on to quote Empire Strikes Back in Star Wars, where of course Samuel L. Jackson that
Like the
played Mace
character
Windu.
later on.
Well, Tony calls Thor Lebowski, who was played by Jeff Bridges,
Bridges.
who is Obadiah Stane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
other thing with Samuel L. Jackson is on Fury's tombstone is the fake Bible quote from Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
Like, so we're just not only implying that Pulp Fiction
Layer.
exists in this universe, but Samuel L. Jackson or Nick Fury is a fan of the movie. Enough where it is his epitaph.
Or you're just assuming that the Bible that exists in Marvel canon has that quote in there.
Has
It's just the
that-
Pulp Fiction version of the Bible.
Yeah. All
I
right.
love it so much.
Any final thoughts on the episode, guys?
Excellent. Can't wait for the next one. Like,
Yeah.
damn, the
Yeah.
show's good.
They pulled me back in after last week. I was upset after last week, but they pulled me back in.
Yeah, I'm excited
My-
to see how it all wraps up.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say there has to be some repercussions because there was way too many cell phones out during that final
So
scene.
many cell phones. So many cell phones.
If he gets away with this,
Can't keep getting away with this.
Damn, I was about to make that same joke.
that's gonna be the
well-
ultimate win for Brett if John Walker gets away with that.
Dude, I don't want to. I'm not going to be on next week if he gets away with it and Brett's here. Like, I'm not going to face him. You know.
I need you guys to know that if he doesn't get away with it and Brett is on next week,
I will be. Here for
I will just be ripping into him for like 20 minutes because I didn't get to rip into him today about this week's episode and now next week's.
that. Have you
Can
seen
we
him?
have
on
it, like-
Twitter? He's already getting ripped for it, man.
Can we have him on the episode, but we never allow him to speak? We're like, no John Walker people.
Yeah, it's just. This is our time.
Yeah.
How's that shirt look now, Brett?
And he bought an
He
action
bought it
figure.
while on the podcast.
Yeah.
He was on the podcast and went, I'm buying a John Walker right
No,
now.
we w-
Should I
he
buy
wouldn't let
one
us-
for all of you?
He wouldn't let us start the podcast last week until he bought it.
That's so fucking funny. Oh my god, I had no
And
idea.
then we had a debate about a pop versus a hot toy of John Walker.
They're not gonna make a hot toy of John Walker. There's absolutely no way.
He found one.
It cannot exist already. No, hold
No,
on.
Because
it
there's
was a
already a
pre-order. It was a
pop out.
pre-order for it.
Oh, it was a pre-order.
The episode. We're gonna look this up.
Because I pulled up the Funko app. It was like, oh, they are pop for John Walker release in a couple of weeks. And he was like, oh, I'm pre-ordering a hot toy. And I was like, Jesus. This is going to bite you in the ass when it turns. And here we
They
are.
have one of Bucky. Like from the show, they have one of Bucky.
Nice.
That's all I can find so far. We're gonna. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
It was just like, and that was the thing. I kept asking him if he was kidding, and no, like I'm
Yeah, they
serious.
actually do. Okay, so they've done one where they for their Marvel Legends series, which are $20 figures. They're the Marvel equivalent to Star Wars Black Series. If any of you guys are familiar,
Okay.
with, like
Yeah.
series, like you know that. But they did a version of John Walker that's actually comes in the packaging that's in the show that he like signs in the beginning of the second episode when he's
Oh,
at the rally.
jeez.
They recreated like the box of the action figure from the show.
That's kind of cool. I like
Which
when they do
that's
stuff
pretty
like
rad. I like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
like when Disney actually made Lotso a bear for the release of Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean Marvel, especially in comparison to Star Wars, which is so weird because it's all Disney. But I mean, is like they're on top of their shit when it comes to their merchandising. Like there's already Zemo figures on the way in characters from, and there's
Yeah.
a pre-order for Falcon, Winter Soldier, Bucky. Whereas I mean, where the fuck is the thick Boba figure? Where's all of the season 2 Mandalorian characters and figures? They're nowhere to be found.
I thought they didn't make a thick Boba figure because there's
They have
one
not.
with no.
I promise you, they didn't. They
Um.
did a statue of him, but it's like the episode where he gets the armor back, so it's still like tan in the middle, and it hasn't been repainted yet.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, yeah,
That's what I thought you were mentioning. The
Star
first
Wars-
episode
Star
we
Wars.
see him in.
Star Wars is behind on it, man. Whereas Marvel on top of their game, dude. You can go get a Zemo action figure right now with the mask. It comes with the mask and everything, and the dope fucking jacket, dude. Zemo got the drip in this show,
we
man.
talked about that last week.
Zemo
Zemo,
got the drip, dude.
Zemo's, I'm gonna say it, Zemo's like kind of kind of zaddy in the show.
No,
Like
no,
he's
too far.
kind of hot.
Daniel Brühl, good looking guy.
Like the scene where he's standing in like the fur coat and the purple turtleneck, I was like, ooh, you look really good. Like I don't like that I like this, but you look
The
really
all
good.
black suit that he wore to Madripoor, dope.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like ooh, I'm okay with this.
I get down with it. I like Zemo. That's where we're at in the world now.
So
Truly.
John's like super aggressive because of the serum, right? Like that's what's doing it.
Well, they made a big point of like Lamar saying it's like yeah, it makes you stronger, sure, but I think it just kind of
Amplifies, yeah.
increases you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like if you're not a good person, you take the serum, you're going to be even more of not a good person because
So, which
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
scene from when they're at the bar cafe, like they're showing that he does have some inner demons. So
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because originally I was just like,
I
oh,
mean, again, it circles back around to that first one of why Steve was chosen
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the serum. It'll amplify all of the good things about him.
So Lamar says power just makes a person more themselves, Carly and then Steve. And, to quote Stanley Tucci, purchase alumni, the
Yes.
serum amplifies everything that's inside, so good becomes great, bad becomes worse, because a strong man who has known power all his life will respect for that power, but a weak man who knows the value of strength and knows compassion.
Yeah. I literally retweeted that like right before we were recorded. Somebody posted a video of it.
Hell yeah.
I love
It's
Stanley
sick.
Tucci.
Great scene. It's
So do I.
just great. Speaking of zaddies.
next to my
Fuck.
rewatch.
I guess the serum makes sense because originally I was going like, oh my god, I think John Walker's Mephisto. Like, there's no reason to be that evil. And on that note, that ends this week's episode of Waypoint Media Club. Join us back next week for the second and last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Everyone's socials will be in the description down below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.